Hello, my Bill 5000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. We are back with another That chapter. This one is titled Dark Web Death, the Allwine Case. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. I believe. Alright, I'm excited. I want to go ahead and get into this story, so go ahead, turn the mics down low, put on something comfy, go up with someone special. Let's get intrigued. I'm intrigued about the dark web death. Yes.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this solo video, what I have for you today is a story which I kind of like hinted at, before, but today, we're gonna go diggity deep. In southeast Minnesota, a lad was doing the old clackety-clackety, you know yourself, and he was looking for two things. One was some tail, and two was to get rid of somebody. This is one of those, if you want to get something done, you really gotta do it yourself, type scenario.
As you know, they say if you want something done and done right, do it yourself.
Because one, he tried to get somebody else to do it. Two, he tried to get themselves to do it. And three, well, he was like, well, fine. I guess I'll do it myself. Speaking of those scenarios, I make 2 true crime videos a week every Tuesday and Friday. So please subscribe if you'd like to see them. And a couple of months back, I made 2 videos on the art of hiring fake hitmen. The stories were pretty funny. People thought they were hiring Agent 47, and it was a womp a cop. And it was crazy how they were just like, yeah, throw my husband off 10 years into a wood chipper or whatever, go wild, be as creative as you want. But in one of the stories I looked at, there was a real life murder attached to it. Sure, hey, let's give it a go.
Really? Okay, now that's fucking crazy. So, Amy Allwine. So someone hired a hitman to kill their husband, but there was an actual murder as well? Oh, the plot thickens. I love it.
We got a scene to set before we got a tale to tell, and this tale takes us to Cottage Grove, Minnesota, where pride and prosperity meet is the motto, and it forms a suburb of Minneapolis. Wow, talk about your pride and prosperity. You got houses and logistics and plastics. Oh my. Cottage Grove lays some pipe. Get oiled up. People seem to be generally enjoying it, though not this person who says it's boring and the tap water sucks. Whoa, calm down. Let's not say things you can't take back. And speaking of things you can't, take back,
I hate living in places where tap water sucks. I like water. I like for it to taste like water. Not weird shit.
Have listened to this.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
I think my wife shot herself. There's blood all over.
Does she still have the weapon?
I don't know. We just
Where
got
did
home
she shoot
here.
herself?
I don't know. I just saw her in blood. I can't tell where she shot. I don't know.
Are we gonna remarry?
I don't know, bud.
What? What did you say, boy? What do you mean remarry? That was the love of my life, boy. Mm. No one, what's your mercy? I just got home. No lays dead on the fucking floor. Are you going to remarry? I don't know, bud. We'll see. This one here was some shit to get through. Might go on hiatus for a minute. Oh, what kind of fucked up little kid is this?
It is a
Oh,
911
fuck.
call that was made in November 2016. The weather that evening was calm, the air temperature crisp, and officers with the Cottage Grove Police Department were sent to South Street Cottage Grove. There was the house of the Allwines. You got your Stephen, your Amy, and their adopted son. They were a loving, by all accounts, happy, deeply religious family. And now Amy was gone. It looked like by her own hand. When the police arrived, they found Stephen and his son in the garage. He directed the police to the back bedroom, and there Amy was found. She was lying on the floor, blood pooling around her and under her head. Beside lay a 9mm handgun. She was slightly warm to the touch, but her pulse had long since stopped pulsating.
Damn.
She was gone. She had shot herself in the head. A shell casing was nearby, and the oven was still on.
That's shitty.
In 2016, Stephen was 43, Amy 44 years old. They had been married for many's a year, over 20 by the end. Having met at a Christian college and fallen in the big L, they would later adopt a son. They took religion very seriously, being members of the United Church of God, which, could really kind of be anything.
What is the United Church of God? Okay. Heard of Christian and Presbyterian and all that. What's the United Church of God? Is it like a union church? Does God have unions?
Most religions, United Churches, they're running out of names. Stephen was an elder in the church, and he would give counseling to couples going through tough times, though he had his own ahead. For some skadoosh, he worked as an IT consultant. Amy was a professional dog trainer. She had her own school, and she was loved dearly by her friends and her family. So this happening to her was shocking. So that evening, the 13th of November 2016, Stephen, he had been at home with Amy pretty much all day, and then their son had been with the grandparents, so he had gone over to collect their son. He said he last saw Amy at about 5:29 p.m. He was yapping away to her. She was saying she was feeling a bit lightheaded, a bit under the weather. He asked her, but she was like, I'm grand. Go off, collect our son, bring him back home. So he went off, he picked up the son, they had a bite to eat. They came back home at about 7 p.m. The son went into the house first, and it was actually, he found Amy, he called for his dad, and, well, she had just gone, it appeared. He said the smoke was still in the air, and 911 was called.
I think my wife shot herself. There's blood all over.
What do you think happened to Amy?
The firearm was in the crook of her left arm, which was unusual. Stephen would confirm she was right-handed, and the gunshot was to the right side of her head. That was something that was off from, at the scene from the start. There was a couple of things, actually. The oven was on, presumably, Amy was, she had been roasting pumpkins in the oven, so presumably she had been, doing the old cooking, and then what, she was just like,
Fucking
fuck this.
pumpkins.
The blood around her had drops, as if something had been suspended, dripping blood beside her. Later, when an autopsy was performed, the trajectory of the bullet was downward. Be very awkward to, do that to yourself. The medical examiner could not rule this as a suicide, and so it had to be treated from the very start as the other thing.
Murder.
And then the hallway in the house, which looked brand new, shampoo, like it had just been cleaned. The police got luminol, our old friend luminol, and well, they found a lot of stains up the wazoo. Someone had cleaned up, and now they had every sign this was a murder. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Murder. It was a murder.
But when the police, the Cottage Grove PD, were called, the Allwines were not unknown to the police. 6 months earlier, Amy Allwine had death threats leveled against her. Someone had been using the dark web, fucking dark web lads, and had put a bounty on Amy Allwine's head, dead or alive. Well, I mean, mostly dead. But they paid the...
Mostly, she don't have to be all the way dead. As long as she gets there, put her on the right path.
Kingly sum of 12 grand to have it done. Now it had been done. Back in May of
Did he say $12,000, like 12 grand, like boom shakalaka, bro? We are the Albania Mafia. We are present in the U.S. In Europe and Albania, we have members in each and every country, and we have expanded online as many other organizations. We are using the security of deep web and Bitcoin. Really?
2016, the FBI had been alerted to a plot, and then alerted the Cottage Grove PD that one of their citizens may be in danger. The Besa Mafia. Remember those boys? Well, here, you can go back and watch Hiring Fake Hitmen Part 2.
You can fucking get anything on the fucking internet, can't you? I mean, some bitch. Fucking back in my day, you had to go out and search for a hitman. You know what I mean? Those motherfuckers weren't easy to come by. Now you just put an ad online. Damn.
But a long story, not so long. Basically, the Besa Mafia was a website on the dark web that you could access and you could pay in Bitcoin these Albanian assassinos to beat the living shite out of somebody or murder someone. Whatever your fancy, really. It was believable, very much so, to actual, like, ex-Special Forces lads who would contact the Besa Mafia looking for work. Now, when I say it was believable, that's because it wasn't real. It was a scam. It was a scam because people would pay money in Bitcoin, which is largely untraceable, and then nothing would happen. You know, you would ask, kill this person. You know, here's all the information you know, and then they'd be like, yeah, we'll get right on that. And I mean, you know, what are you gonna do? Call the police? Yeah, I paid these online hitmen to murder somebody I know, and now they won't do it. That's a breach of contract.
No, I would. If I'm gonna pay damn good money, someone's gonna die. I would have called the police. I don't care. Technically, it never happens. Technically, I did nothing wrong. Talk about killing things all fucking time. That's just how I am.
The Besa Mafia site had been hacked at one point and a lot of requested hits released. The site was fake. The requests from all over the world were very real, and so this information would be sent to police departments and they'd be like, yeah, somebody tried to pay to have you murdered and they thought it was real. And someone had wanted Amy Allwine dead, a person who went by the pseudonym Dog Day God. In February 2016, Dog Day God had inquired to the Besa Mafia how much for a hit, how much to make it look like a car accident. 6 grand, and they asked how to pay. They were directed to Bitcoin websites. She, Dog Day God, used female pronouns, directed the Mafia toward Amy when she was in Illinois for a dog training competition in March 2016, saying they didn't give a shit about her traveling companion and they needed this bitch dead. The Besa Mafia would later email Dog Day God and say, yeah, they followed.
So this dog training, this is some serious business then, huh, bud? I didn't know, like, dog trainers murdered people. What kind of world do we live in where we have to fear dog trainers? I mean, fuck.
Her in Illinois, but you know, shit happens. They didn't have a chance. They'll get her next time. Next time they'd use a sniper. During this whole time, Dog Day God was emailing. She was telling the Besa Mafia of Amy's car type, her schedules, all that. Now again, the hit wouldn't happen. This time the Mafia would say the assassin, you know, they almost got her, but they got pulled over and arrested for driving a stolen vehicle and possessing a gun. So, Amy and Steve.
Alright, so far it says, on 5/31/2016, I met with FBI agent Silky regarding threats report. SA Silky stated He received information that a murder for hire inquiry had been located on the dark web with Amy Allwine as the intended target. S.A. Silky recently received a report on an UNK unknown. I thought they're shut up, people. I don't want to hear it. Report on an unknown them motherfucker. Unknown individual intending to contact a murder for hire
Even
in
were informed of this.
FEB
Steven got a gun,
February
the one
to
Amy would
March
later kill herself with,
2016. The unknown individual had specific information
and
regarding
installed security systems
Alwyn's
in their
family situation,
home.
location of her residence,
Then
business, and travel. So this motherfucker was stalking like massively. Holy shit. Hold on, let me take it back just a sec.
Steven got a gun, the one Amy would later kill herself with, and installed security systems in their home.
Travel plans. So this person had to be someone who knows her quite well. What does the husband do? He's not a dog trainer person. So it wasn't him. Man, I'll never look at like the dog shows the same ever again. These dogs can be trained by murderers.
Then, in late July, after Amy and Steven had been alerted, about this plot, Amy started getting emails from jane@gmail.com. Wow, how did I get that email address? The emails were pretty nasty, and they went like so.
Amy, I still blame you for my life falling apart. I do not know how a fat bitch like you got to my husband, but because of you he left, and my life has become shit. I am sending you this email because it looks like you already know about me. I see that you have put up a security system now, and I have been informed by people on the internet that the police were snooping around my earlier emails. I have been assured that the emails are untraceable and they will not find me. But I cannot attack you directly with them watching. Here is what is going to happen. Since I cannot get to you,
Oh, okay.
untraceable and they will not find me. But I cannot attack you directly with them watching. Here is what is going to happen. Since I cannot get to you, I will come after everything else that you love. I know about your son, your husband, and your business. But thanks to the internet, I see you have a mother and father in Woodbury, a brother in St. Paul, and a sister in Yardley, PA. I have been busy researching topics on the internet and have found that if you inject water into the brake line, then you will cause them to fail. What would happen if the brakes on the truck failed when your husband was hauling a heavy load? I found out how to blow up a gas meter and make it look like an accident. I know that the meter on your house and on your business are on the east side, and the meter on your parents' house is on the south side. I'm still watching you and your family. Here is how you can save your family. Commit suicide. If you do not, then you will slowly see things taken away from you. And each time you will know that you could have stopped it, which will eat you apart from the inside. By the time I am done, you will want to end it anyway. So why not do it now and save them? Based on a suicide website I'd rather not say. The best ways to do it are shotgun to the head, cyanide, gunshot to the head, which is the same thing, shotgun to the chest, explosives, hit by train, jump from height, hanging, household toxins, inhaling gas, slitting wrist or throat. I know about this website because I've thought of this option many times. Remember, if you do not get it right the first time, then you will likely be committed for mental health issues and you will lose your business and possibly your family. So, I would pick a reliable method. I think it is an easy choice. 1 life to save 6 lives. Your family does not need you, but you can save them. Do not tell anyone about this email or the deal is off. And I will come after your family.
Fuck. That was a long mother flipping email. Straight to the point though. Wow. That's some extreme shit, bro. Good lord.
Well, that really says it all. I think they covered all their bases there. And, Amy would receive follow-up emails after that saying, well, giddy up, like. By the way, Amy was not having an affair and she didn't steal anyone's husband.
The idea that somebody would just out of the blue want to kill somebody out of our family is just obscene.
So you have all of that, and then you have her actually ending up as a victim of a homicide. Dog days God. Your days are dog gone. The investigation would continue for weeks into who killed Amy Allwine, who this female, this dog day God person was. And from some of the interactions they gathered, this person was a business competitor to Amy in the fucking vicious lads, dog training business, no mucking about. They did find one link.
Thinking the same thing, bud. Didn't I know dog training was a dog-eat-dog world? Fuck.
Few months back, Dog Day God, after contacting the Besa Mafia, had inquired about scopolamine on Dream Market Forum, a dark web marketplace. Now, scopolamine is used mainly to treat nausea, vomiting after surgery. Anesthesia can make you feel ill, so they'll give you this. And funnily enough, it was actually one of the first truth serums out there. But so it's often used to treat nausea, motion sickness, that kind of thing. But if you give enough of it to somebody, it will cause memory loss and lack of consciousness. Essentially, it's quite similar to Rohypnol, to the date rape drug. So they wanted to see was any of it in her system. Maybe this Dog Day God person was pretty serious. The police asked the medical examiner to test if Amy had it, and they found in Amy's system over 40 times what a doctor would prescribe of scopolamine. In her system.
Holy
and
shit.
She hadn't been prescribed any by no doctor. So who was this dog?
Who's getting close enough to her is it the husband? Is it the boy? The boy seems very callous. Like, I don't know who this kid is, but he don't seem to give two shits.
Dagon person. Who could they be? Well, that would become clear when the medical examiner would rule Amy's time of death to be at about 3 p.m. One thing, my friends, is that nothing is ever really gone. Ever. You think it's deleted, from your phone, your computer, your whatever. It's probably not. Or at least not completely. That's what Stephen Allwine thought when he handed over his phone to the police. And was like, yeah, knock yourselves out. He handed over his phone on the 13th of November, the day the investigation began, and on his phone, the police found some messages from a woman named Michelle. Now, Michelle and Stephen had some spicy meatballs, and by meatballs, I mean messages and Stephen's meat and balls. She lived in the Western Metro Twin Cities area, and when the police spoke to her, she told them all about her and Stephen's relationship. A relationship that had begun on the site Ashley Madison, the website for cheating on your husband or wife. Stephen had in fact learned of this website from his marriage counselling in the church days. Couples would come in and I guess they would say, yeah, he's cheating on me using Ashley Madison. And Stephen was sitting there. He was thinking to himself, wow, it just ruined their marriage. Maybe I'll try it. Stephen would date Michelle and a couple of other women on it. Now, remember how Dog Day God had paid in Bitcoin to have Amy Allwine killed? Mm. All done on Tor, the browser, and VPNs, and all of that. They weren't able to trace any kind of IP addresses from it. But one thing was that Stephen, he was questioned. And he said he'd never in my life, lads, been on the dark web. But his phone did have a Bitcoin wallet. The same day Dog Day God asked the Besa Mafia how to pay them.
I'm looking to hire you for a hit, but what is the recommended way to convert cash to Bitcoin anonymously? If I pull 5,000 out after the hit, I would assume that the police would see that draw and wonder where it went.
For the murder, cookies were installed on Stephen's phone from CoinDesk, and a few other Bitcoin websites. A Bitcoin address Dog Day God had sent to the Basin Mafia in an email. That same address was also found on Stephen's phone on a deleted file. Every transaction has a unique address. The only way Stephen could have that address was if he was Dog Day God. In that big ol' email that was sent to Amy from jane@email.com, all that information had been searched for on Stephen's computer.
I can see that there looked like beads of blood on the wood floor just outside the bedroom that had been cleaned. Do you have any information about that?
No,
Were there any injuries by anyone in the house that had been bleeding?
not that I know of.
When you checked on Amy, do you recall getting blood on you in any way?
I don't really think so.
Stephen was due to be working on the 13th of November.
You murdering piece of shit. The one time I didn't think it was the fucking husband. It was the fucking husband.
From 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. The 13th of November, that was a Monday. He worked Sundays to Wednesdays. So he did log in at like 6 a.m. that day, the last day, but he did zero work at all. In his IT, work, he would, he'd work on projects and he would constantly be providing case updates, notes and stuff like that. There was none that day. Finally, gunshot residue was found on Stephen's right hand. It was in January 2017 that Stephen Allwine was arrested and charged with Amy's murder.
Piece of shit. I hope you get fucking life in
Stephen
prison.
pleaded not guilty. He was pretty convinced, and still remains to this day convinced, that Dog Day God is a real person, not him, but a real person who had it out for Amy. But the prosecution said the story went like this. Stephen wanted a divorce, but his church would poo-poo that idea. He wanted to be out there dogging chicks, and so Amy had to go. If he couldn't divorce, then he wanted a more permanent solution. At first, he tried to hire what he thought was a real hitman. Then, when that didn't work, as it was a scam, he tried to get her to kill herself. And then he decided to do it the old-fashioned way. When his son was at the grandparents' house, he drugged Amy and shot her dead. Then he made it look like a suicide, cleaned up the scene, went, picked up his son, and had his son find her.
Are we gonna remarry?
I don't know, bud.
He was also hoping to pick up that, 700 big ones. Very nice.
We had a small life insurance dance. What?
Stephen Allwine was found guilty of first-degree murder
Hell yeah.
and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Hell yeah. He's shitting his longer. He literally set all this up, killed her, and sent his own, well, not his own, but his adopted son in to find the body. He is literally a big piece of shit.
Five years later, in the chapel of Stillwater Prison, Stephen Allwine is sitting down for his first interview. He claims he was framed.
Did you kill Amy?
No.
Who did?
I believe, based on the evidence that I've seen now, I believe I know who did. And I trace it back to somebody that she was working with.
How did that very specific Bitcoin wallet end up on your Apple products?
Right, so again, it never showed up on my phone, so just to clarify that. But my supposition, and again, I don't have evidence to back this up, is that somebody else got it posted to the cloud, and then the cloud synced with my MacBook and brought it there.
What you seem to be saying is that there was an elaborate hack involved of your systems to make you look guilty.
Yes.
And yet there's never been any evidence of that, correct?
Well, Yes and no. I mean, one of the things I always tell people is, change your passwords, update your passwords, have different passwords, and unfortunately, I didn't follow my own advice. I couldn't have done it. If you know me as an individual, I couldn't have done it.
Self well. Religions say, try and be bad. This straight. Steve.
I fat finger buttons. My bad. I don't know where we're at, but we're around where we needed to be, I think. Bro, okay, for one, you'd be surprised what people can do. You can have the nicest person in the world and come to find out they're the shittiest person to ever walk the face of the earth. You don't know people's true intent. You could think someone's the biggest piece of shit in the world and they have a heart of gold. You don't know. Never judge a book by its cover. For two, man, you are fucking shit, bro. You did it, you know you did it, and then you sent that poor child in to find this poor lady dead on the floor that you killed. You're trash. You're gonna get in the butt, and I'm gonna laugh at you.
Me as an individual, I couldn't have done it.
You did it. We all know you did it.
Once again, we have a story of, come on, just get a divorce. Come on, just divorce. There's no need to be killing. No need. Come on now. But the religion wouldn't let them. So let me get this straight. Steve.
I'm sure God would have been happier with you getting a divorce and pissing off your church than murdering one of his flock.
Stephen wouldn't get a divorce because the religion frowned upon it. He thought it might make him look bad. So he killed her instead. After all, divorce is a no-no, but if he's a widower and his wife killed herself, well, isn't he just a swell poor old guy, Poor creature like. So once again, it's about somebody hiding behind a religion while not giving.
I don't know. I know in my religion, suicide is horrible. You can't even be buried in where you should be because if you commit suicide, that's bad. That's how my church sees it. I don't know how this church sees it. It's the union of God or God united. God united of God. Whatever it is. I don't know. But I know in my religion, like if you kill yourself, you're not to be buried on like church grounds or anything like that. Which, I mean, it is what it is. As long as you're gonna hold, who cares? But for some people, that's a big thing. For him to be more than willing for for one, killing her, for two, sending a poor kid who was adopted by them in to find her, for three, letting everyone think she killed herself, and most religions, your soul can't rest properly when you commit suicide. Like, this dude's a piece of shit. Mike, bro, you come in with some stories that just blow my mind, buddy. Love watching this. I love watching this shit. I do.
Giving a shit about being a good person at all if they think murdering somebody is not as bad as divorcing somebody.
We believe that marriage is a covenant not just between the man and the woman, but with God as well. And so, unless you knowingly break that covenant, then we don't.
Most religions say, try and be decent, but they don't even give a shit about that then either. They would rather end somebody else's life than be frowned upon. Just stop doing it. Just stop.
Alright. If y'all enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed today's video, please leave a thumbs up. If you're a fan of the spooky, scary, strange, weird ass thoughts on how to get out of a marriage, think about subscribing. We'll get you divorced. I mean, I can talk you through the steps. Like, you don't have to kill people. Yeah. You just call 1-800-divorce lawyers. I'm sure that's a number somewhere. Oh Good golly, Miss Molly. I don't know. Like, I get the premise, you know, some religions are very hardcore about that, but I'm still 100% certain that if you have your spouse murdered, that's 10 times worse than getting divorced. It's gotta be. I mean, like one of the top main bad things is murder. I don't know. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Nah, I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. I mean, how much did the divorce lawyer cost? Did it cost more than the funeral? Did the funeral cost more than that? See, there's so many things you gotta think about before you just jump head first into either of them.